Hi there, this is Bhuwan Uprety and I'm from Project 162. The name of our project is Swans Product Fresh Tracker. This is the final self-reflection video in which I'm going to talk about all the things that I accomplished in this project. I want to talk about three of the main features or things that I worked on, which I think is the most important thing that I did for the project. So the number one will be setting up Azure environment. Second one is templating the project um, and testing of the product. We started with setting up the Azure environment, and I'll quickly share my screen here. So, when I log into the Azure portal, uh, yeah, so I've got a lot of resources with me. Thanks to my client that he has actually provided all of these resources, which will actually need money, like real subscription services, in order to access all of these features. As you can see, there are different kind of resources in Azure: SQL databases, stream analytics jobs, app services, DevOps organizations. So the service that I use to host the application is app service. In app services, we use the deployment center to set up the Swans website, Swans transportation. It's Swans Tech. So that's what we name for this website. Um, and the Swans transportation database is where the all the database content has been set up. Okay, login here. So in tables, you can see all the tables here. Just show you the users. I couldn't find it, so maybe I'll just query it. So you can see the users table right here. So this is our database. So setting all of these things with zero information and zero knowledge was really tricky. I've never been working, or I never worked on any Microsoft Azure platform on any of the project before. So I had to do quite a bit of a research, and my client helped me to get basic knowledge about all of these Microsoft products and services. And Swans Transportation Hub is our IoT hub, which is a service as well. Yeah, in this one, we assigned and we created a lot of IoT devices to test, and some of these are already been used by the client. So this one here, who is set up for the Arduino device that we have used for the project. So, and also in order to get all the data from there and streaming it into the another database, we use a stream analytics job. So what happens here is we set up the inputs field where we will set up all these settings. That means from where the input is coming from, and the output means where this input will be stored into. So, and then we'll just run the query. So from into SQL to out to SQL. So the input preview will just preview the inputs that I received from the device quite a while ago. So yeah, so all this data will be sent to the database into out to SQL. That's device underscore data. So yeah, that's all about the Azure services that I had to set up, and all. And also, I'd like to take you into the Swans Tech website, which uses the code from the GitHub. So Swans transportation, yeah. So all these codes, like we got 145 commits, which is quite a huge. Uh, we accomplished this as a team, and yeah, all this data, whenever any changes comes to the master, then it will get deployed in the Swans Tech website. You can actually go to deployment center and see the versions. So yeah, all of these commits and then you can also we also have the functionality to switch back to any of these previous deployments if anything is wrong with the new ones. So that's all for my also for my Microsoft Azure services that needed to be set up for this project. Another thing that I would like to focus on is the use of Google Map APIs for the project. So let's run the project up. So currently we wouldn't have any assignments, but I'll show you the Google Map autofill here. So this is one of the uses of Google Map API. So these all of this requires actual subscriptions, which I've just taken trial. So these are the enabled APIs for the project. So for Swans transportation, I've taken like 5 of these, and these are all the requests that these APIs receive in um, in the scope of this project after the project got started. So it was also quite a bit of pain to research all of these. I've never used this before, um, like in as much as detail as in this project. So it took a while. Need to go through the documentations. Need to set up a lot of credentials for this. So it took a while. The next thing that I want to be talking about is the testing part. So as you can see here, we got a test folder in the project directory here, in the root directory inside Swans Transportation. So we got two test directory features and feature and unit. We got like 4 feature tests and just 1 user test. So all of these test cases use one setup, one base class where I will just like create functions for creating, returning the new users, returning new roles, assigning those users to role, returning new admin users, blah blah, and guest user as well. So all of these, this class will be initialized in each of these test classes. So in this one, it will test only farmer can create an assignment, associating a user request valid user. In the database test, what I did was I just inserted a value into users table and then checked if the users table count incremented to 1. So the Laravel provides a good feature here. Just a sec. I think I forgot to add the code here, but it's all right. So it will use refresh database trait. That means anytime I run the test, it will be run on a completely new database table, and then all the informations that were loaded into the database will all be removed after running the test. So in PHP, in Laravel, to test all of these, you can just go PHP artisan test, and then it will take you through all the tests here. So let me get it first. So it runs first it runs on the unit testing. So there was a password must at least be 8 characters. So it will give an overall summary here. Can be added to form, must be at least 8 characters. Yeah, all of those parts here. All the test has been successful. So what happens here is whenever we try to make any changes to the controller to where the actual work is being performed, then if it doesn't um, match the criteria that we have set here, then it will actually throw error. So we can actually try to change things in the controller like in the future, and then we can just run the test case and see if everything is being done according to the test cases that have been set up. So that's the major work that have been done. Another part that I'd like to talk about is helping in coding with the Arduino device. Most of the work already did by Manish, but there were cases in which he wasn't able to like do the things that he was trying to do. So what happens here is there are 2 classes, 2 functions, get measurement and get measurement, which will get all the measurement from the ENV device, which is just a sensor that will provide temperature, humidity, pressure, and all the UV indexes. and another get GPS data will also get the GPS data, and then these will be serialized into a JSON object and then sent to the MQTT client, MQTT broker client, which should be which is then sent to the Microsoft Azure. So all of these settings will be in Arduino secrets, where we set up all those necessary keys and information. So yeah, those are the important aspects that I worked on. The another key thing that I worked on is templating the whole project. So when we started the project, so this is just the basic template, but in the views, in partials, inside views, you can see all these templates here. So all these templates here, I set the templates so that we could base our project based on this. So as you can see, in masters, I've got master layout. So this layout will be this master layout will be used in every other file. So we get pages here. So I'll show you the admin index page. So it's really easy to write code like that, because I think it's standard and it reduces errors, and then you don't have to copy a lot of the codes everywhere. So you could just extend that master file and then put the required field like title and stuff, and then just input the main content here. If you got any scripts, then you can just put on section and then include all the script file that particular page will be running, that is required for the page. So yeah, I think it's efficient if we manage all the project like that, and all the controllers stuff and email notification system. It's pretty good feature. So I did quite a bit of research, and actually we are using for the project, we are using my own Gmail ID. So that's my email. So it's quite a bit of a work. So anytime we do changes, we could just push the code into the kit. So I'd like to talk about what I learned in this project. So one, I never worked in Microsoft Azure. So now I know what kind of features are there in Microsoft Azure, what kind of things can be done, how can we deploy and like send data and take data from the database. I never had worked before on Arduino devices. Um, that's another plus point. I never did much work on Google APIs in detail as much as now. Yep, and the team communication, as we are really good, really close friends. The communication was really good. Like it's really efficient to work on any team like this. It doesn't even feel like working. Any of the meetings that we had in past few months never felt like a meeting. Just was like a regular chit chat. So it's a really good thing for anyone to work in a project. So and what could go better for this project would be, I would uh, say I would have loved a supervisor. Not that we needed much help from the supervisor, because we did a lot of the research mostly ourselves, but we had academic queries which was held by a supervisor. So what I would love is to provide supervisors that has, say, if I if my project was based on something to do with say Node.js or something, to make an API or something. So I would love to have a supervisor that has really good knowledge only on that field. So any queries, anything that I had would be answered by him. So we didn't have much, but we learned this from the project meeting that was held by a tutor. We could see all these hardships in between them, so that would be better for the other things as well. So what does this course need? I would like to say that this is the only best thing that has happened to us for this project, because I love to have this kind of thing going on in each semester. Like, just include the course materials in between, but we need to have this kind of thing going on in each semester, so that they'll get used to, all the students get used to the real software development. So this is just like in the final semester. So it's not as, it's good, but it's not as good as having it in each semester. So that's all I think. I show you most of the things here. So that's all my reflection, and it was a pleasure to be working with all my team and the client as well. So thank you so much for listening to me.